Okay, so now today we're going to keep working on this thing, on this electrolyzer. I want to hook it up with 5 of those tiny solar panels and make something to collect the gas. We will start with the solar panels. We will need to solder them all together. So let's start with that. And let's go down. So first, I'm going to use this wire. It's pretty thin, so because I only got a pretty weak soldering iron. So first we just arrange them in the way they will be arranged. They should be arranged to make sure that the wires are long enough so they can be in the right positions. This will be how they will be arranged. As they are an uneven number, and this gives us kind of still a square shape. Those two sideways and those are right way up. To glue them together, I will be using some dissolved and liquid polystyrene, because I once tried this with hot glue and this just fell apart for some reason. Probably has something to do with the coating on there. That feels pretty slippery. Yeah, so yeah. We just cut off a length of wire, then split the wire. Yeah. Oh well, the two wires apart, like this. Oops. That wasn't correct. Let's use the spin and pair wire cutters. No, this is how it's supposed to be, and then we pull them apart a bit, like this. We just take off the insulation of their tip. Well, off the tip of them, like this. And now we can solder them onto those. If my soldering iron is already hot, let's test it real quick. Yeah, it is hot. Good to go. There are already plots of solder on those connection points, so I just need to heat them up and press the wires in to them. And maybe add a bit more solder though. That much. Not really good at soldering. Haven't done it very often. Maybe a few times. Okay. One down. And then the negative. Need more solder for that. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure none of you wants to see me struggling to solder all of those connection points, so I'm just gonna skip forward to when I have soldered up all of the other ones. Now that they are all soldered up, we can glue them together. Like I said, I'm going to use some dissolved polystyrene. It's going to take a while to dry, but so this project will take a bit. I just pour the stuff on all the seams and let it flow out from there. That's my neighbor, by the way, if you're wondering. I'm not sure what he's doing either. Probably watering plants or filling a mini pool for this little one. Hope this doesn't flow through and glue the thing to the table. That would be bad. Oh well, I'm just gonna hope for the best. Yeah. So now we just need to connect up all of the wires. Make sure we don't twist them along the way here and connect the wrong ones. So, okay, so this one is negative. And here, this one is negative. I bent back all the positive ones so I can know which ones are which ones. Yeah. Oh, here, okay. No. So now we are going to connect all the negative ones. That one. And then afterwards all the positive ones. There we got all the negative ones. Just going to twist them together. And not set them up yet in case I need to separate them again. If I have, in case I haven't connected them the right way. Okay, and now got all the positive ones. them together as well. Now we got a negative couple and other couple. Now we just gotta wait until this plastic hardens. It already doesn't stick to my touch anymore. So this probably will only take like a day or so. In winter this takes forever, but now it's pretty warm, so it will go quickly, I guess. So the next thing we will need to do while this dries is build something to collect the gas. Okay, so now to store the gas, I got 2 gymnastic balls off of 10 wool. I know the stuff doesn't really have quality, but I don't really need something with quality here as long as it doesn't leak. That's fine. So now we will press fit one of those press fittings into here. Let's smear some of the polystyrene on there first. Then we will use one of those valves which says it can fit hoses from 4 to 7 millimeters on it to fit it between this thin tube and this bigger tube, because this fitting is for this bigger tube and not this thin one. The big tube will barely fit on here, because if this tube would be pretty hard, I could actually let it go on there, but this is only 1 millimeter bigger than this tube, so it doesn't make a really good connection there. This tube is also pretty flexible. Actually seals all the way around, but you can just like notch it out of there. And if it's not perfectly straight, then it leaks. So I will also put some polystyrene around here to seal this connection, at least on this side of this bigger tube. So now, well, let's start with that. We'll also use a T-piece in this. One side will connect to the piece of thicker hose with the valve, the other side to the side of the tank, and the third side will be for accessing the gas. This will have a plug on it, which will be just a piece of hose with some of polystyrene in the front to plug it up. So let's start with that. First we cut off a small piece of this wire and this on one side of this T-piece. Then take polystyrene and put it around here. It's too much. Just about the right amount. We quickly get the stuff out, which is inside of the hose. So now, come down, stick this onto here, seals up nicely. Also put some of it around the outside. I'm not completely sure if they'll actually seal up properly. On the inside also we want the connection here to be strong, because it's going to handle highly combustible gases, one highly combustible gas, which could be dangerous. So then we cut off a bit longer piece of holes and we press this onto this press ring. Then we smear some polystyrene on here. Like this. Make sure the hole in the middle is not covered by the polystyrene. Then we can go here, can take out this plug here, this one, and then push this press thing into here, like this. So this will not just dry up. And we can connect this up right here. So this, then we last thing left to do right here is to make a plug. Like I said, just entangle this real quick. This we just need short length stuff, and we need to put some of this polystyrene into there. This we just repeatedly press it against a rod, just polystyrene on it, and you can see that the polystyrene is slowly pushed up into the rod, the pipe, the hose, or whatever. Just like this. Oh yeah, by the way, if you want to make this stuff, it's pretty easy. You just take some gasoline, put it in here, then you just put in styrofoam, and the gasoline will dissolve the styrofoam and make it into this goo. It's important to know though, this will shrink it by about 99%. So the volume will go down to 1% of the initial volume, because only about 1% of styrofoam is actual polystyrene. The other 99% are air. So now close this off so the gas gets into here, because if air gets into there and then we fill it up with hydrogen, we could get an explosive mixture. So now there's one third thing. We need to do with this thing. We will need to drill a hole into the top and add in a small pipe so we can top off the electrolyte in there if it gets too low. This is important because if the electrolyte level in there drops too low, we could get gas. We could get both of those gases mixing, because let's call it a membrane, I used to separate both of the inner chambers is just cloth, and this is only be able to separate gases as long as it's wet. So when the water level inside drops too much, then the cloth won't be able to suck up water all the way to the top and will get dry, and then gas can pass through from one side of the chamber to the other, and the gas mixture will be explosive. So now I have added a tube at the side here, to fill in the water and the electrolyte. I fill it on the side and not at the top, so that I can also monitor the level of the electrolyte. I've just glued this on with some dissolved polystyrene. This is pretty hard now. I use this twig to bridge the gap there between the holes, and I have accidentally drilled another hole on this side because I forgot which side of the thing is up, and then I drilled it too close to the top. So I smeared this close with some silicone. We will see how this goes. So now the polystyrene on the solar panels is now also dry. This took a few days, but now it's a solid piece. Also, I've marked which side has the positive output here. So now we just need to connect everything up. So now I will first need to move this thing. Oh, I will need to set this up somewhere over there in the garden because this table needs to be clean tomorrow. Well, the first thing we need to do to connect everything up is to push those fittings into those tubes. It's gonna be a bit difficult to clean it real quick. There's some stuff on here. Okay, so now we push this into here. Oh, it's a bit hard to do. With one hand at least. I might also now make sure that those wells are open, because if not, the air is just going to push out all the electrolyte by the feed tube. Now we need to connect this up. This blue wire connects up to the marked wire on here. This and the brown wire connects to that unmarked wire. Just by twisting that up there. And now this thing is ready to go. Oh yeah, one last note. You need to put those higher, those tubes, because for some reason those balloons initially suck in some air. So if I lower this up, then the electrolyte is pulled into the tube. So those should always be higher than the point where they come out here. So now, if you get any ideas for projects in the future, or any ideas how to improve this design, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. If you have liked the video, I would be really happy if you would consider giving it a thumbs up, and subscribing to the channel if you would like to see more videos like this, or just in general from this channel. Goodbye.